Should you pull Terra's FR Echo? Let's get started with her role. It's going to be a magic attacker slash turn hogger. Her notable attacks, let's start with her skill 1. It is Magic Meltdown Plus. This is the strongest version of it. It is 3 HP dumps with 3 AoE splash damage, and it is higher turn rate. Her skill 2 is going to be Magic Meteor Plus. It is 4 HP dumps with 1 50% AoE splash. Riot Blade, her EX is the same, 4 HP dumps, but with 2 50% AoE splash, and it grants 9 levels of her overhead buff, Magic. Her overhead buff is, by the way, what makes her skill 1 and skill 2 the strongest versions. Chaos Wave, her LD, it is 4 split HP dumps, it is instant turn rate, it grants 5 levels of her overhead magic, and it also grants another buff with Loving Heart, which during that buff's duration, it gives you free ability use of all your skills, and all of the moves are instant turn rate. All of them are going to be instant turn rate while this buff is active, and this will not decrease magic levels, so you can just keep spamming Magic Meltdown Plus, you can keep spamming Magic Meteor Plus without the worry of your overhead depleting. Ring of Rose and Crimson, her FR. I want to talk about it briefly. It is guaranteed to hit. It is also instant turn rate and inflicts magic resist down on the enemy for 4 turns. Her force conditions are plus 20% when someone is using a magic ability, plus 40% when someone's using an instant turn rate ability, and a final 20% when Terra is the one that uses the magic ability. So let's get started on her pros. She has a very strong FR, both as a base and also as an echo. Her FR numbers are actually very consistent and very strong. When you're using Terra's FR and you're going to be turn hogging with her, you're going to be getting a very consistent 80%, and that's going to deal a lot of damage. Even if Terra herself might not necessarily deal the biggest damage in the world, if you tack on a lot of HP cap ups, if you tack on off-turn damage, so say if you bring a Core, a Kayn, a Garnet, their damage is going to be heavily capitalized in this FR. She's very self-sufficient as an attacker. Even if you're in a boss fight, which the Brave damage or the Brave recovery is very minimalized and very restricted, I still find when using her that she can still deal full damage with her skills. You know, with Meteor, I still find that it for some reason still does max damage. I don't necessarily know the intricacies behind it. I don't know exactly why it does that, but her skills still do good damage even if the support or buffs backing her up aren't even there. From my first-hand experience in using her in JP with this rework, that's been my experience. This is kind of self-evident in this case. She has good damage now. As a turn hogger, one of the biggest, or when her BT Plus came out, one of the biggest problems with her was her lack of damage. It wasn't that nasty. I'll be honest. Back then, it wasn't that good. Unless she was a fave, there was very little reason to use her over Tidus. But nowadays, with the FR Echo, and Tidus doesn't have an Echo, that's all I'm saying. She does good damage still, so I think she can keep up, and in some situations, she might even be better than Tidus. Her FR is definitely better than Tidus, that's for sure. And I don't know if it's necessarily a pro, but I do think this does speak volumes about how usable she is as a unit. She's not reliant on her green. Her green, while it is fantastic, it provides a good HP cap up for her, and it's also 10 turns. It's very long. She's not reliant on it at all. Her main caveat is her LD and her free instant turn rate skill uses. That's going to be her main caveat, her main damage. So if you only have her built up to her FR and you didn't have a BT, she's still very usable. I do think you can still use her as a main attacker even without the BT. I think that's a pro in my opinion, because it makes her a lot more accessible to players who might not have the resources to green another unit, and they still need a good attacker in their roster. And Terra might be a good option for you. She also has some fire alternate costumes. Is this the most relevant pro in the world? No, but I felt it was important enough to keep it in there. Have you seen this costume? Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. That's stunning. Beautiful. If you're a Terra stan, you gotta cop. I mean, come on. You have to cop. I'm not even a Terra stan myself, and I was considering getting that alt because it looks so damn good. I know a lot of people complain about Opera Omnia costumes costing a lot, but for this right here, I don't know. It might be worth it. Let's get to her cons. Despite all the praise and despite all the positive things I've been saying about her damage, I do have to point out the fact that she still isn't a top dog DPS. There are definitely still units that do a lot more damage than Terra. Granted, they're not turn hogging, but overall, I do think they do still much more damage than Terra. I'm gonna say it again, Jack Garland, my boy, he does way more damage than Terra, I'll be honest. He does way more damage. Oh my god. Vaughn does more damage. Machina does more damage. If we're excluding FR and we're just talking about pure HP dumps, pure damage, Tidus still does more damage. I'm gonna say he still does more damage than Terra. Of course, FR, like, it's night and day. You know, Terra is just miles and miles better than Tidus. But you know, when that Tidus FR gets reworked, I'm just saying, Terra's gonna have some competition again. But yeah, she as a top dog DPS, I don't think she's one of those. I think she can absolutely serve as your main damager, as one of the best damagers in the game. I don't think so. Her LDs, this is following on the first point. Her LDs can actually run out before beating the enemy. This is a problem I've had several times. Pretty much every time I've used her. I got her when her BT originally came out. I tried using her with her BT Plus, and I tried using her in JP. A lot of times, if I wasn't careful, my LDs did in fact run out before the enemy died, and it's a shame, and it's a problem that I can see happening to a lot of people because, again, Terra's damage, while good, is not amazing unless you're dealing some good off-turn damage on the side. If you're just using Terra's just pure LD and that's your only main avenue of damage for the party while her force time is active, don't be surprised if her damage doesn't immediately 0% the enemy. Her damage is good, but it's not by any means fantastic. Following that, some moves actually don't complement her FR. When you're using her force time, her LD essentially has to be up 24/7. And if it's not up, you have to use her LD to get that up, because that is going to be how you utilize the most damage from her, and that's how to get that consistent 80% from Terra. If you try using your entire party for Terra's force time, you're not going to be doing that much damage, unfortunately. Your LD essentially has to be up the entire time you use her force time, which again can equate to her LDs running out very quickly. Force time is, again, mostly just for Terra. If you're using her force time, she's going to be the one doing attacking, not anyone else. It's going to be mainly her. To my knowledge, I don't think any turn hogger as of late, who is also a magic attacker, is updated enough and able to dish out damage enough to justify not using Terra for her FR. I don't think it's worth it, in my opinion. So yeah, you're mainly going to be using Terra. Equating to her LDs running out pretty fast, I don't think she's good at longer fights. She is a very boss rush, very fast-paced character, so in a very short span of time, she's going to be dealing good damage. But after that, when her LD's out, you know, when her BT effect is out, I don't think she's going to be doing you that much justice. Very, very long-winded fights, I don't think she shines at all. The final con, this might be just out of personal bias. Maybe I'm the only person who feels this way. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. But I can understand that Terra's kit and the way she functions as an attacker can feel boring to some people. You know, her main caveat is using her LD and spamming her skills. You're going to be, you know, using LD, spamming skills, and when it runs out, that is the crux of Terra's usage. And again, if you're a huge fan of Terra and you love using her that way, go right ahead. Completely bypass this con. It doesn't even exist to you. But for me personally, who I do like uniqueness in my party, Terra can feel redundant here and there. You know, if I use her in every single Shinryu fight in Under the Sun, I am going to be bored with Terra. I'll be honest. It's not the optimal way to play for me personally. I much prefer, you know, bigger bursts of damage for not necessarily turn hog. Again, That's just my case. Maybe you guys love doing that. We don't judge in this household. My should you pull rating for Terra's FR Echo, her rework is going to be an A-. For people who have her as favorites, she's absolutely useful again. If you love using her, her rework is going to do you very well. You're going to have much fun with her. She is viable again. She's usable again. Have fun. Have at it. But for the rest of us who are perhaps looking for a more powerful unit, even when it comes to turn hogging capabilities, you know, Neon is coming out and she does have some turn hogging capabilities. And in my opinion, in some aspects, she's actually better than Terra as a turn hogger. In my opinion, do I think she's one of the best units in the game? No, not even close. That's all for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.